This is from Indie Media Today. Jill Stein sounds great, but the system is still the problem. None of the above 2024. I know for sure we aren't voting our way out of this, which is why I'm firmly on team none of the above. Wait, am I really on team none of the above?
I'm firmly, India is.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying this is me. I was like, wait, what? I don't think, wait, what? I had to ask you what my political beliefs were there for a second.
There is a lot of positive energy around the Jill Stein campaign from leftists and independents. She just named her running mate, a man nobody has heard of nationally named Butch Ware. She put out a very progressive policy position on what she would do for black people if elected.
Progressive.
Progressive.
You said progressive?
Did I say progressive?
You did. It says aggressive. I don't know if it necessarily matters because it kind of works either way. Because it would be a progressive.
She put out a very aggressive policy position on what she would do for black people if elected.
I'm going to aggressively support you.
She is by far the most popular candidate running who is firmly against Israel's genocide and occupation of the Palestinian people. What Stein would do policy-wise sounds great. Jill has the luxury to promise the world she'll never win and be held accountable to actually do any of it, even if her intentions are good. But in order for her to even have a chance, she would need the entire country to unplug from the duopoly horse race of corporate media. She would at least have to be mentioned by them as a contender, which she never is, because they don't want to even let people know she exists and is running. Sadly, corporate media still is where most of the country gets its political news and framing from. Definitely the portion of the public that votes. Stein has some of the more popular independent podcasters behind her too. Because the establishment duopoly has the money and the control of the narrative via complicit media, it's virtually impossible for her or any unapproved outside challenger to gain enough traction nationally. Corporate media will control the narrative about her if they ever decided to cover her as a serious candidate. If corporate media ever started smearing her, many people would believe it, and it would even be worse than after 2016, when many Democrats blamed her for Hillary losing to Trump. Heaven forbid she actually had to compete with them at a national advertising level, buying ad time against them. The campaign has struggled to get on state ballots and is dealing with signature and procedural challenges from the Democrats in New York, where Greens will not be on the ballot. There are active suits still being heard in Georgia and Wisconsin. The Dems also tried to boot the Greens in Nevada, but were unsuccessful. The problem isn't replacing the president. The problem is the system itself. Between the corporate media's brainwashing of the public in partnership with the political duopoly, there is little outside forces can do to penetrate the shield of control in 2024 at the federal level. The voting process is also manipulated and sometimes rigged and controlled by the duopoly. I recently subscribed to a new Substack by Joey Sirkowitz, who in a piece titled A Wish List for the Future mentions the number 2 problem behind breaking up corporate media is the voting process and the machines. I am concerned that there's energy and hope being directed into an effort that will effectively disappear once the election is over, or substantially shrink at minimum. What is the plan once the election is over exactly? I feel like it's my responsibility, since so few are doing it, and I seem to be one of the few seeing it and saying something about it, to remind people that even if we got every ex-Bernie person on board, plus everyone to their left that doesn't get the Greens close to 5%, which only gets $20 million of federal funding, how much did AIPAC alone pledge to spend to defeat 8 House Democrats? Even $20 million is a drop in the bucket. 5% of the 150 million voters from 2020 would be 7.5 million votes. So how do you expand your tent to get more people? The Greens have historically gone after disaffected Democrats, and with the genocide that the party has been enabling happening for almost 11 months now, plus the anointment of an unelected cringe candidate that would never have emerged from a primary, there are plenty of Americans who have decided to never vote Democrat again. The net result of getting pissed off Democrats on board will dilute and water down the Greens by accepting pseudo-neoliberals that just don't like the Gaza policy, but were on board with everything else until then. If the Green Party were smart, they would focus on workers and organizing the rank and file against management and corporate-friendly political creatures like Teamsters and UAW leadership, and continue the work beyond Election Day. They could support and educate about work co-ops and alternate structures to corporations to empower workers. That would actually expand their tent. If you feel like you have to vote for someone and decide to vote for Jill Stein, just know full well that it's not going to mean anything in the grand scheme. The next best thing to none of the above in a rigged system is voting against the duopoly, so neither side of the uniparty gets your consent, at least. So voting isn't really a path to true power for workers in this system. Indy has that correct. Voting is not going to bring us away from fascism. You can't vote the fascism out.
People unfortunately do accidentally vote fascism in.
But not, yeah. So I think at this point, the only way we move forward is a sustained general strike to meet worker demands. A worker-led revolution that ultimately leads to proletariat control is the only way we will save people and the planet. For people like us, who are pretty close to being evicted, I mean, our kids are going to be hungry in a few hours, and we're not completely sure how to feed them, how we're going to feed them. Our car needs an oil change. We have no gas, and work has screwed us over. The state has screwed us. The doctors have screwed us. Insurance companies have screwed us. The hospitals have screwed us. I need some kind of hope. I need some kind of feeling like I'm doing something, or I'm not going to survive. So I'm going to vote for Jill Stein and Butch Ware in the November election, just for my own sanity, until that general strike comes or that revolution of workers comes.
I think you might be waiting for a long time for that one.
I
believe
there will be revolution in our lifetime. I just don't know
which way.
Don't know all the details yet.
Not sure what the revolution's going to be for, or who's going to be in control. I do want to say that I think that one of the big reasons that people like vote blue no matter who, or vote red until I'm dead, I think that those people don't believe or don't know that there can be another option, a third option, a fourth option, a fifth option.
They look at the duopoly as Pepsi or Coke. That's how involved they are. That's the level of involvement that they have.
That's ironic that both of those are red and blue.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, can we get some mellow yellow in here? Like some green?
Some Sprite?
Can we get some
Fanta?
What's the libertarian drink?
Dr. Pepper?
No. What would be the libertarian drink? Water? I don't know. And what if, like, there was a huge tent over all the left? If all the left consolidated to have any kind of power, could we see them, like, shift the Democratic Party closer to the center? Because they are basically Reaganites from the 90s. The Democrats are basically the Republican Party of the 90s, and Republicans are fascists. So if we had a couple other parties dragging them, more back to like their principles, like I don't see how that could be a bad thing. And yeah, we also need like ranked choice voting and other things. I don't even think voting really does that much, but it's something. It's what I'm allowed.
If my choices are to vote red or blue and I refuse, so I decide to not vote, it'd be better to vote against them than to just not vote. Finding a way to throw my vote somewhere else to show I disagree with you both so much. I would rather spend my time and my day coming into how miserable it is going to a voting booth in the first place to vote for someone completely not going to get it.
Yeah, but like I don't know about you, but I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I'm not doing enough. So if there's something I can do, that's to vote for Jill Stein or Claudia de la Cruz, then I'm going to do it. And maybe that makes me less of a Marxist, I guess. Makes me less of a revolutionary.
Really?
I'll do anything. Just tell me what the fuck to do. I'll fucking do it.
You're trying to be a good person in a bad society. You're trying to find good in a system that's rigged against you in every possible way. Because neither the Democrats or the Republicans are going to help us or give us what we want or what we need. You know that.
Yeah.
They will help to some degree. The Democrats, hopefully, they will reverse Roe v. Wade, which is a major thing. It's a major thing that's been hurting a lot of women out there. So hopefully they will do like those little good. But that's the whole point, is to distract you. So you stop talking about Gaza, why they give you the things that they already gave to you and then fucking took away.
Yeah, like we already had the child tax credit.
We already had Roe v. Wade. How old is Roe v. Wade?
Yeah, give us something better.
We've already been to court. We've already told you guys you don't know how women's reproductive system works in the first place. You don't know how an abortion works. You guys don't even know from which... Look, I watched an interview with a senator who thought you could swallow a pill and that it would go to your vagina to diagnose what's wrong with a baby. Like a colonoscopy.
Yeah, it's
because things that go in your mouth go to your vagina.
Conservatives be dumb as fuck, okay?
They would go at your ass, guys. We're not shitting babies out. That's an old thing your mom used to tell you, that you poop out babies, okay? If some of you are in 2024 and old-ass men in fucking Congress and you think that that's still how shit works, you should shut your mouth about what goes on in a woman. Actually, you should just shut your mouth about what goes on in a woman, because most of you have probably paid for more abortions than the people you accuse of getting them have gotten, all right? Let's just fucking put it out there.
Facts.
So we know Trump's paid for abortions.
Because, you know, like, even though abortions never stop, abortions don't stop. People, when they don't have options, they get abortions, whether the doctor gives it to them or not. And the wealthy women who need the abortions are going to the States and getting them, or they're getting them, their friend knows this person, they're getting it. But they're forcing the lower and middle class, they're forcing the birth rates to go up.
Jail time to doctors for helping save people's lives.
How do we get on this
Not how
topic?
that
We're talking about Jill Stein.
Because we're talking about the tiniest little bit of crumb of what the Democrats will do, which is to give us back the things that they themselves had taken away.
Well, they didn't take it away. The Supreme Court did. But they didn't do anything for 50 years to codify that into law.
Yeah. Legal
Legal
and free.
Abortion should be legal and free.
Yeah. Because people don't just get abortions because they don't want a baby. They don't just get abortions because financially they can't handle it. They don't just get abortions because they were raped. They don't just get abortion because mentally they can't handle it. Physically they can't handle it.
If you're really pro-baby, you'd not be starving all those children in Gaza. Wouldn't be allowing that shit.
If you'd be pro-baby, then you would do something about the adoption agencies, the adoption rate, the adoption process.
That's the only time they want to talk about this shit about adoption is when they talk about abortion. So yeah, they don't. None of them actually adopt or anything. It's just.
Well, yeah, I mean, because none of them also have uteruses, but they also decide what I get to do with mine.
Yeah. But yeah, Kamala Harris sucks balls. I'm not going to vote for Trump.
They're going to.
Tim Walz is fucking
disappointing.
That's
all I'm going to say about him right now.
I wanted to take the bullshit, but you know, I wanted to eat that bullshit up. But
he seems like a good family man.
Yeah.
He seems like a good family man.
I didn't have a dad growing up, and
he seems like he has good localized family values, but he doesn't seem to have a value on families and human
He'd be a
life.
Republican candidate for president in 1988.
Did they like IDF or IDF?
IVF? They didn't have a problem with it. Republicans used to not fucking touch abortion. It was the Southern strategy started by Nixon that started this bullshit. It's like, we can't wait. We can't wait till 2028, 2032. People in Palestine, they can't wait that long. People in this country can't wait that long.
Well,
like, I'm not an expert on how to break the duopoly.
I don't think anyone is, or it would have been broken by now.
I'm just going to continue to shit on Democrats and Republicans. Like I said, Republicans, the thing I like about them is they stab you in the front. The Democrats stab you in the back.
Which, honestly, I think I'd respect the Republican more.
At least they're honest.
Yeah, that's it. That's
the thing about conservatives, is that they're not, a lot of them, okay, they're not all dumb. They're not all dumb, but like, they say what they mean. And if they don't like someone or something, they fucking say it, and they're upfront about it. But the Democrats, everyone else, even the left, they just fucking mask all their bullshit. That's why I don't fucking make fun of Republicans, because it's a low-hanging fruit. If the jokes write themselves, there's no effort. You're not going to change their mind. A liberal at least has like some like self-reflecting capability.
To a degree.
Like, and even leftist has even more, because you're just more in tune with humanity at that point, that you fucking hate everyone and yourself and the world, and you want things to be better. That's what a leftist is. The conservative is things, everything's great, don't change it, or go back to what was good.
A leftist is over here like me in 2024 going, how the fuck are we at war?
And neolibs are like, nothing should change ever. And if we're going to change anything, it's going to be so incremental that only like 1,200 people will feel it. So like, our politics are just defunct. And
they've been.
It's hopeless. But like, I can't live without hope, and I don't think a lot of other people can either. So I'm going to vote. So fucking sue me.
Hope's all you can have when you're in the lower and middle class. You hope for things to get better. You hope to get the raise. You hope to get a day off. You hope you can get your vacation days. All you do is hope when you're in lower and middle class. That's all you live off of is hope. So you don't have anything else.